There are many places on the planet that maintain a magical connection with nature. But surely there is no region in the world so beautiful and mysterious that until a few years ago, governments preferred to prohibit access to it in order to keep it a secret. In this new uncensored world video, we will discover Kamchatka, the mysterious land of ice and fire. One of the most beautiful and enigmatic places, but as you will see, also one of the most unknown and extraordinary places on Earth. A place where traditions still exist today, such as the ritual of eternal bonds, a practice resulting from the difficulties of life in this inhospitable territory, by which the men of a tribe establish marriage alliances that allow them to exchange wives for periods of time agreed between them. A region with unique curiosities, such as containing secret infrastructures similar to the 51st area of the United States, being the area with the highest density of active volcanoes in the world, and also one of the most changing and youngest regions of the planet, with valleys full of geysers and volcanoes that explode every few minutes, which shape one of the most wonderful landscapes on Earth. A destination where there are tribes that believe in supernatural spirits and consider volcanoes as living entities, abodes of powerful spirits that must be respected and admired to enjoy a better destiny. Pay attention and do not miss this video. Soon you will travel with us through what is probably the most wonderful and unexplored place on the planet. Let's get started. Located in the far east of Russia, the Kamchatka Peninsula stretches for 1,200 kilometers, from the Sea of Okhotsk in the west to the Bering Sea and the Pacific Ocean in the east. This remote corner of the planet is one of the wildest and most enigmatic territories in the world, a real paradise for adventurers and nature lovers that we will now discover together. Surrounded by oceans and seas that isolate it from the rest of the world, Kamchatka is a land of extreme contrasts and unparalleled beauty. The peninsula is almost entirely covered by vast natural reserves, where volcanoes dominate the landscape with their impressive and imposing presence. Kamchatka is therefore considered the world center of volcanology, a region located in the middle of the Pacific Ring of Fire, with more than 300 volcanoes, of which about 30 are currently active. The volcanoes of Kamchatka were declared a World Heritage Site in 1996, making the Kamchatka Peninsula the area with the highest density of active volcanoes in the world. It is therefore common that at any time of the year there are several volcanic eruptions, so that in this region in constant change and evolution, earthquakes also abound. It is for all these reasons that Kamchatka is considered the world center for volcanology lovers and seismologists. This reality forms a landscape of craters, geysers, and lava flows that seem to be taken from another world. This constantly changing volcanic landscape offers a unique experience for landscape photography, capturing the breathtaking fusion of fire and ice. And this is why Kamchatka is also known as the Land of Fire and Ice. Soon we will go into the detail of this unique natural beauty in the world. But before that, we will start this journey knowing its origins. The name Kamchatka is believed to come from the Ainu language, a language spoken by the Ainu people, an indigenous minority that historically inhabited the northern islands of Japan. The Ainu had a network of trade and cultural contact with neighboring regions, including the Kamchatka Peninsula, through sea routes. This maritime and cultural connection allowed the Ainu to influence the naming of this region that did not belong to them. This is how the term Kamchatka came about, a word that in Ainu could be interpreted as a place that stretches and explodes, reflecting the volcanic and dynamic nature of this remote peninsula. This designation captures the essence of Kamchatka, with its numerous active volcanoes and ever-changing landscape, where the land seems to constantly transform under the influence of its geothermal activity. This continuous transformation has much to do with why Kamchatka's beauty is so captivating. In this corner of the planet, time seems to behave differently. A month in Kamchatka can feel like a lifetime. Not only does its landscape constantly change due to volcanic activity, but it also varies with its nearly 20 distinct climate zones. Because of this variability, tourists lucky enough to visit this region must be prepared to face a wide range of weather conditions and bring a varied collection of clothing. In Kamchatka, the climate is so changeable that in the summer months it is possible to find ice-covered areas with sub-zero temperatures, while in other parts of the peninsula, the mercury can exceed 20 degrees Celsius. This remarkable difference in climatic conditions within the same region underlines the uniqueness of Kamchatka, where natural beauty is accentuated by an ever-changing environment. The Kamchatka Peninsula was officially discovered by Russian explorers in the 17th century, when the navigator Semyon Dezhnev made his first expeditions in this region. Since then, Kamchatka has been a place of fascination and mystery for geographers and adventurers alike. However, despite its discovery, Kamchatka remained largely unexplored and unknown to the rest of the world for centuries. Until just 15 years ago, access to Kamchatka was strictly forbidden to foreign visitors. The Russian government maintained the peninsula as a restricted zone, similar to a Russian 51st area, due to its strategic importance and its role in military activities and secret experiments. During this time, research and testing was conducted in the region, and Kamchatka was rumored to harbor activities related to UFOs and advanced technology. In addition to this, the incredible nature and resources of this region made it necessary to preserve it with extraordinary measures. Today, although access to Kamchatka has been liberalized and it has become a destination for adventurers and photographers from all over the world, the aura of mystery persists. The region remains a place where nature and secrecy intertwine, offering a breathtaking and enigmatic setting for those who venture to explore its wild beauty and incredible scenery. Kamchatka is considered to be a kind of Russian Alaska due to its breathtaking natural scenery, vast expanse, and severe climate. Like Alaska, Kamchatka is dotted with impressive volcanoes, vast areas of tundra, and rich wildlife including bears and foxes. The peninsula shares with Alaska an air of natural majesty and a sense of remoteness and adventure, making it a comparable destination in terms of beauty and challenge. Another similarity with Alaska lies in the indigenous ethnic groups that inhabit the region and the traditions they maintain, which are comparable to those of other Arctic regions. Among these customs are practices such as wife swapping, which you will learn about later in this trip. Both regions also use reindeer as a means of transportation and cargo, an essential practice for mobility in their extreme environment. In terms of housing, both regions used structures adapted to the climate. In Kamchatka, the Evenki lived in tents called kwoluozy, while in Alaska, the Inuit used igloos built with snow. In addition, in both Kamchatka and Alaska, communities practice rituals and hold spiritual beliefs that reflect a deep connection to nature and the spirits that inhabit it. These traditions reflect the adaptation of these communities to their extreme environment, where living in harmony with nature and cooperation between groups are essential for survival. But despite these similarities, Kamchatka offers a radically different experience. While Alaska has a more developed infrastructure, Kamchatka is known for its lack of roads and limited access. One of Kamchatka's most fascinating curiosities is that, from this remote corner of Russia, it is possible to observe the American continent with surprising ease. This is due to the existence of two islands separated by only a few kilometers, each belonging to a different continent, with the particularity that between them there is a difference of 24 hours in time. These islands are the Diomedes Islands, located in the Bering Strait, the vast and icy waterway that separates the Kamchatka Peninsula from the American continent. This strait connects the Pacific Ocean with the Arctic and is marked by its extreme conditions and geopolitical importance. The Diomedes Islands, Greater Diomedes and Lesser Diomedes, are located only 3.8 kilometers from each other, so close that on a clear day it is possible to see from one island to the other. This geographical proximity contrasts with the great time difference between them, since Diomedes Major, belonging to Russia, and Diomedes Minor, belonging to the United States, are separated by the International Date Change Line. This results in a 24-hour difference in local time, despite their physical proximity. Aside from being the closest point on the planet between Asia and North America, the Bering Strait is also known for its extreme weather conditions. During the winter, the strait can partially freeze over, forming an ice bridge that has historically allowed transit between Asia and North America for indigenous peoples. In contrast, summer brings cold, turbulent waters that present navigational challenges. This, inhospitable and constantly changing environment makes this region both dangerous and fascinating for explorers and scientists. The dramatic beauty of this landscape, with its sheer cliffs and panoramic views, provides a striking contrast to the harshness of the Arctic. Historically, this strait has been crucial for humans migrating from Asia to North America during the last ice age. Considering the distances in Kamchatka, the distances between points of interest are so vast that special vehicles or even helicopters are required to reach the most remote areas of the peninsula. This lack of accessible infrastructure, coupled with the low number of visitors and its inhospitable climate and geography, makes Kamchatka a truly isolated and enigmatic destination, reserved only for the most intrepid and adventurous. A reality that helps it to continue to be considered by many as the most beautiful area on the planet. The combination of an impressive natural landscape, the lack of infrastructure, and the exclusivity of its access contributes to keep Kamchatka as a hidden treasure that from the uncensored world we wish to continue to be considered. Kamchatka is considered one of the youngest regions on Earth, second only to Iceland due to its intense geological and volcanic activity. This Russian peninsula is located in the Pacific Ring of Fire, one of the most tectonically active areas in the world. In this belt, the tectonic plates of the Pacific and the North American plate converge, creating ideal conditions for the formation and activity of volcanoes. The interaction of these plates causes a high number of volcanic eruptions and the continuous creation of new land, which contributes to the geological youth of the region. This constant transformation has a lot to do with why it is considered the most beautiful place in the world for many, something that we will now delve into to discover its most beautiful places. At the heart of this fascinating land lies the Valley of Geysers, a small valley hidden deep inside the mountain, in the Kranotsky Nature Reserve. Discovered only 60 years ago, the valley is home to more than 20 active geysers. Some of these geysers erupt every 10 to 12 minutes, while others erupt less frequently, about every 5 hours. The steam vents, boiling fountains, and the spectacular colors of the hot water-bathed slopes create a breathtaking natural spectacle that mesmerizes all visitors. Another of the most beautiful places is the Klyuchevskaya Sopka volcano, one of the brightest jewels of this peninsula and the whole world. This volcano, the highest in Kamchatka, rises to an imposing height of 4,750 meters, with an almost perfectly conical shape that makes it an unparalleled visual spectacle. Its majestic profile and continuous activity make it an ideal destination for adventurers and photographers seeking to capture the primordial and dynamic essence of the volcanic landscape. The grandeur of Klyuchevskaya Sopka is not only evident in its height and shape, but also in the panoramic view it offers from its summit. Visitors can enjoy spectacular views that encompass the vast surrounding volcanic region, a sea of craters and lava flows that create a surreal and dramatic landscape. The volcano's constant activity, coupled with its imposing presence, makes it an iconic symbol of Kamchatka and one of the most outstanding natural attractions on Earth. Kamchatka is also home to a vast and rich natural diversity. It has 414 glaciers, hundreds of volcanoes of which more than 30 are active, 14,000 rivers, and between 100,000 lakes with more than 274 hot springs. The floor is notable for its giant grasslands, which reach heights of up to 4 meters, making most of Kamchatka's land a beautiful tundra, full of moss and lichen. Wildlife includes over 170 species of birds and 60 species of mammals, with one of the highest concentrations of Steller's sea eagles and brown bears in the world. This large number of rivers has a lot to do with Kamchatka being the exporter of what is known as the cheapest caviar in the world. In Kamchatka, these rivers play a crucial role in the life cycle of salmon, being key spawning grounds for large populations of these migratory species. Each year, the crystal clear waters of the peninsula fill with salmon in search of the spawning grounds they have used for generations. This abundance of salmon not only sustains a vibrant aquatic ecosystem, but also has a significant impact on the local economy. Mass salmon spawning in Kamchatka contributes to the region's reputation for offering the cheapest caviar in the world. The availability and quality of caviar is exceptional due to the high concentration of salmon and the rich fishing tradition in the area. This abundance allows fishermen and caviar processors to offer high-quality products at much more affordable prices compared to other regions where caviar is more expensive. In addition to the economic impact on the caviar market, this fishing activity has become one of the main sources of income for the region. Salmon fishing and caviar production generate employment and foster local economic development, attracting both entrepreneurs and tourists interested in experiencing Kamchatka's rich biodiversity. The caviar industry, supported by salmon spawning, remains a mainstay in the economy of this beautiful region of the planet. In addition to its natural beauty and its most enigmatic places, it is important to know the capital of Kamchatka, known as Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky. Most of the inhabitants of Kamchatka are concentrated in this regional capital, where a population of approximately 200,000 people live. This city, located on the Pacific coast, is the main urban and economic center of the peninsula, serving as a hub for administration, trade, and cultural life. Despite its size, Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky represents only a fraction of the total population of the region, which amounts to about 320,000 inhabitants on the entire peninsula. To give an example, it would be comparable to a country as large as Chile, which has an area similar to that of Kamchatka, having a population smaller than that of Panama. This makes Kamchatka one of the least densely populated places on the planet, with vast extensions of territory that remain practically uninhabited, helping to protect the immense beauty of this region of the planet. At this point, we thought we would ask you, do you think Kamchatka is one of the most incredible places on the planet? In your country, there are similar places, or has nothing to do with it? Pause the video and leave us your comment. Doing so is the best way for you to help Uncensored World to work towards bringing you unique and wonderful content like this. So thank you. Much of Kamchatka's population lives in small villages and rural settlements. Among these populations, the most common in this beautiful region are the Itelmenos, the Evenkis, and the Koryakos. Each of these ethnic groups brings a unique cultural richness that further enriches the diversity of this remote region. The Itelmenos, ancestral inhabitants of the west coast of the peninsula, are known for their deep connection to the natural environment. A distinctive characteristic of the Itelmenos is their skill in salmon fishing, a practice central to their daily lives. They use traditional techniques that have been perfected over generations, including ingenious fishing traps and fish drying methods that ensure the preservation of their essential food during the long winter. In addition to this tradition, the most striking and controversial is the ritual of eternal bonds that you will soon learn about. The Evenkis, another nomadic people of Kamchatka, traditionally dedicated to reindeer herding, are noted for their skill in horseback riding and herding. From an early age, Evenkis' children learn to ride and care for reindeer, which is crucial to their livelihood. They also have a unique tradition of making saddles adapted to reindeer, enabling them to move easily and efficiently across the vast Kamchatka landscape. In addition to these two groups, the other major group is the Koryakos, who inhabit the northeastern part of the peninsula, are known for their impressive whaling and seal hunting skills. The members of this tribe developed specialized techniques for hunting these large marine mammals, a practice that not only provides food, but is also immersed in rituals and ceremonies that reflect their deep respect for the sea and its creatures. In Kamchatka, animism constitutes the spiritual and cultural basis of its diverse societies and tribes. This animist belief attributes to the region's volcanoes a vital existence, considering them living entities that harbor powerful spirits. According to this worldview, volcanoes are not mere geological formations, but beings endowed with their own will and personality, whose actions are deeply connected to human destiny. This deep respect for volcanoes is manifested in the daily practices and rituals of Kamchatka's inhabitants. The veneration of these majestic fire giants is crucial to maintaining a harmony between humanity and nature, as it is believed that the way humans interact with the natural environment can influence the benevolence or fury of these volcanic spirits. Ceremonies and offerings are common, seeking to ensure good harvests and avoid the wrath of the volcanoes. In this region, These beliefs not only guide the spiritual relationship with the environment, but also influence the way of life of local communities. The inhabitants of Kamchatka firmly believe that maintaining respectful behavior in harmony with nature is essential to ensure their well-being and prosperity. Rituals and ceremonies, often centered on volcanoes, are performed to ensure abundant harvests, good hunting, and to ward off the wrath of the spirits that inhabit the land. Offerings and prayers to the spirits of the volcanoes are common practices to appease their fury and obtain their favor. This interrelationship between man and the environment not only reinforces the spirituality of these peoples, but also underscores one of the main reasons for Kamchatka's incredible beauty. In a land where respect for the natural elements is essential for survival, volcanoes stand as powerful reminders of the majesty and mystery of nature in its purest and most primordial form. But surely the most striking tradition of Kamchatka has to do with its origins and the time they coexisted with societies such as the Chukchi in regions like Siberia, giving rise to a unique cultural practice in the peninsula. Among the tribes in Kamchatka, the Atelmen maintain a fascinating custom reminiscent of the ancient Chukchi wife-swapping ritual known as Nevtumgit. Due to the influence of these ancestral traditions and the need to adapt to the harsh conditions of their environment, the practice has been adapted to create the ritual of eternal bonds, reflecting the deep connection between these ethnic groups who shared land and traditions in ancient times. In the eternal bonds ritual, tribesmen enter into marriage alliances that allow for the exchange of wives for agreed-upon periods of time. This exchange can last from a few months to indefinitely, and is carried out due to extraordinary situations such as a long journey, illness, or wars with neighboring tribes. The ritual fosters a network of mutual support and strengthens community ties, ensuring social and emotional stability in times of crisis. This tradition, although it has evolved over time, remains an important part of Atelmen life, reflecting their ability to adapt and maintain their ancestral customs. Do you think this type of tradition makes sense now? And what would happen if this type of tradition were maintained in your country? Surely you have a personal opinion and a better understanding of why the inhabitants of this remote region maintain such extraordinary traditions as these. So it will be great to read you in the comments. Thank you. The Eternal Bonds ritual not only promotes unity and cooperation within the tribe, but also ensures genetic diversity and family stability in the harsh conditions of Kamchatka. Through seasonal festivities and offering ceremonies to the guardian spirits, the Atelmen preserve the spirit of this ancient practice, keeping alive a tradition that unites the community in times of change. For many of these reasons, the leaders of the Soviet Union, and later those of today's Russian Federation, have considered the Kamchatka Peninsula a vitally important strategic point for decades. Its proximity to the United States during the Cold War led to the construction of various top-secret military infrastructures in the region, as you may have learned. This strategic nature meant that access to Kamchatka was strictly limited during the Soviet era, and the presence of foreigners on the peninsula was completely forbidden until the fall of the Soviet Union. To this day, Vilyuchinsk, a town near the regional capital, remains closed to visitors, maintaining its exclusivity and mystery. During a boat tour of the capital, Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, it is not uncommon to discover submarines emerging from the waters of Avacha Bay, a reminder of the strategic character of this region. This fact adds an additional layer of enigma to the natural beauty of Kamchatka, suggesting that Russia, over the years, has preferred to keep the breathtaking beauty of this remote corner of the world a secret. Kamchatka, despite its increasing openness to tourism, remains one of the most difficult regions to explore due to these restrictions and its remote and challenging terrain. Although you are surely interested to know how it is possible to travel and one day discover these incredible wonders. Getting to Kamchatka requires international flights to the capital, Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, usually with one or more stopovers in Moscow or Vladivostok. From there, travel on the peninsula involves navigating complicated routes, often accessible only by specialized vehicles, such as 4x4 trucks or even helicopters, especially in more inaccessible regions. That is why exploring Kamchatka in depth is a feat that requires planning and a willingness to face extreme conditions. In addition, the unpredictable and highly variable weather conditions and rugged geography add a level of challenge to any expedition. From Uncensored World, we hope that this video has helped you to discover one of the most remote and unknown jewels of the planet, and that it has been as interesting for you as it has been for us. If so, do not hesitate to leave us a nice like and a comment. It is the best way to help us to continue working to bring you every week interesting content like this, or like this video that you can watch now to discover another of the most mysterious and beautiful places on the planet. Click on it. You will enjoy it.